Hello, this is a special recording for EDCI 570, Introduction to Research and Curriculum and Instruction. So what I'm putting together with this video recording is just kind of to show you what I go through, what I do when I assess and review papers for the class. Had you all do the first assignment, the review of the quantitative research article, provided quite a bit of feedback for each student. And as I said, when I sent back those papers, I usually award full credit on the first assignment. And that's with the intention that students will use the feedback, use the comments and editorial suggestions to improve their writing for future assignments. So as you start to prepare for the qualitative review, I just wanted to go through some things, show you a paper that I have that I received previously, and kind of show you going through it, things that I'm looking for, things that scholar writers should be doing as they prepare the assignments. So let me share first. I'm going to share the syllabus with you. So you should be seeing syllabus. The first thing that you all should do when you go to work on an assignment, especially in one of my classes or for any instructor, is go to the paper, the requirements, the instructions, and look at what the requirements are. And for both the quantitative and qualitative, it's to follow the APA 7th edition. And on the first assignment, I think everyone did that. There were some minor things that looked like they came from a 6th edition, but for the most part, the paper should be in Times New Roman 12-point font. That's what we require. 1-inch margins all the way around. Be clear, have clarity, spell check for grammar, things like that. And then there's these other things are just other things. So for that first assignment, the assignment called for a 3 to 4 page paper, and that includes the reference list. This also would include a cover page. And notice in the instructions, it says 3 to 4 pages, but there's no requirement of having a cover page. And several of you added the cover page, which puts you over the 4-page maximum requirement. So as you get ready for the qualitative, just keep that in mind. If you can do a qualitative summary and are concise and to the point, and have the cover page along with the reference list with your writing, and it's all 3 to 4 pages, good. Keep that reference or a cover page in there. If not, cover page seems to be the thing that would go away. So now what I'm going to do is, let's stop sharing. I'm going to go to a paper that was submitted last semester, and we'll go through this paper. Let's see here. Okay, it should be up. You should be seeing, where did it go? Let's get there we go. You should be seeing qualitative research summary, and this was submitted from last semester. So the first thing, there's more than 4 pages. So what I would recommend, and what can be done to fix that, is actually move the works cited up here at the end of the writing. So actually, let me go in. I'll show you kind of how to do that. Pretty straightforward. We're excited. Now we're down to 4 pages, and we meet the requirement, and you can continue to have the cover page. So in the instructions, there's nothing that says that the reference page has to be a separate page. So we got that. So the other thing that I look at when I first start looking at a paper is, how is the paper organized? And many on the first writing assignment for me, and I kind of, I don't provide, I've stopped providing examples for that first paper, just to see what you do, just to see what students do, see what they submit. And the other thing I would tell you with uh, scholarly writing, it's like anything. It's like learning to weld. It's like learning to do a lot of things. There's a skill to it. And the more practice you get, the more experience you get, the better you are at it. And it took me a while to pick up APA, took up the scholarly writing style. So when I go in and look at a paper, I look at the organization. And as you notice in this paper that I'm using, there's a title, but there's no headings. It's just one big paper. So off the bat, I would tell the student that you need to organize your paper, use headings so that the reader can organize, and it helps the reader. A good thing to think about when we talk about organizing, when you pick up a book to read, and if, especially if you can't read it all at once, which not many of us can, you kind of look at how long are the chapters. You look at how long sections are. What I do, I read a book. I read a book for pleasure, for leisure, every evening before I go to bed. And I kind of look at the book I'm reading. I try and go 10, 15 pages a night. And I try and go from one chapter to another chapter, or from a section, if it's sectioned off. And it just helps the reader, organize. And for those who do a lot of reading, it also helps us not to, in our minds, it's not such a daunting task because we're going from section to section. So again, organize your papers into sections using headings. And in the APA 7th edition, on the inside front cover is a chart on how to format your headings. So with this one, I just go in, I would back off, or I would delete this this heading and turn, and I'm going to put in red my changes on the papers I sent back. I usually use a track change function, but here I'm just going to put introduction. And then go through. So here's your introduction. The next thing would be on research questions. And I'm going to make it red. Next thing, it looks like they go into the lit review. And you can put it as literature review, review of related okay. Then this person goes into the research design. So then they go into their findings and they summarize the findings. And then the last paragraph, they go into their critique. I'm just going to title this conclusion. So there are the headings. So another thing going to do, it looks like the formatting just a little bit off. So I'm going to use the paragraph function now to kind of see where we're at. This paragraph. Yeah. So coming in here, I want it set. I asked that you set like the spacing, go to 0 point. That way between paragraphs, it's consistent. Also, we're good here. Then first line by 5. We're good to go there. The other thing I'm going to check on is the layout and where we're at on margins, and it looks like we're good to go. 1-inch margins. One thing I would tell you with Canvas, when I downloaded your articles on Canvas, it did look like the Canvas system changed some of the formatting. So if you uploaded it with 1-inch margins, then what came to me, it first tried to, it defaulted to a PDF to download, but I could change that to where I downloaded it as a Word, but then some of the formatting was off. Like it didn't go to the 1-inch margins, and there were some other issues that took place. So a heads up, down the road, I may ask you to also send me an email with your Word document, with your papers as a Word document, just so that we can preserve your formatting. One little quick check here. Yeah, you also just need to make sure after you do some of your other changes that it does stay. This needs to be, does look like that. So I think we're good after we made some of those formatting changes. So next thing I'm going to go to is the reference. And instead of works cited, I'm going to change this to references. And also we want to make sure formatting in the reference list is consistent with the rest of the paper. So we're going to go ahead and look it up. I'm going to go 0. This should be 0 also. And there we go. Now it's in the same, it's in the same format. Now, next thing I'm going to do, well, let me check one last thing. Just make sure we're good to go here. Yeah, we're good. So now I'm going to check each of the references. And I do go through each of the references, make sure that what you have in the reference list is also what's cited. And that's one of the things that make sure you proofread. Anything that's in the reference list is cited. Anything cited is in the reference list. So first one is, so we're good on it. And more is they're the authors for who papers reviewed. So one thing, make sure in your papers, and make sure you do this early, that you cite the article that you are reviewing. Had several papers that got submitted on the last assignment where there was never a citation of the article being cited. Cite that in the first paragraph, cite it throughout. And my rule of thumb is cite, cite, cite. Everything probably should be cited. And sometimes you may have a paragraph where every sentence in the paragraph is cited. So more is in there. And I did see Zirkle, but just to check real quick. Yeah, Zirkle is cited. So now what I'm going to do is look at each of these, and it looks like this paper was actually done under the 6th edition, because this leaves, this goes away. And I'm going to put this, that goes away. The retrieve from is no longer used. There's also some things here like this issue. that is not italicized. This comma is not italicized either. Make sure things that aren't supposed to be italicized aren't. And also they did this student did a good job with your titles. The titles, the main piece, only the first word of the title, first word of the subtitle are capitalized. So a good job there. So with the next one, this is a paper presentation. This isn't quite in 7th edition. So I'm going to open up my 7th edition and we're going to fix this real quick. Go to section 10.5. We'll get this here. We're going to add here. I'm going to do this, put it in bold so we know that this was a change that was made. And then this is going to go away. So let me do what I was doing with that. Just do this, this, and that, and it shows that that's going away. Career and Technical Education Research and Professional Development Conference, New Orleans, Louisiana. And then you're going to add at the very end. So you've got this, and also up here at the top, you're going to put in the date. And so we're going to put in and add that in that date. And I need to look this up, but it was around the 15th. But I would look this up before I submitted this. I would look it up, make sure I had the right date here. But I'm just putting that there to demonstrate. Okay. So we got that. So then Zircle, and it's in there. Everything's good. But we get to here and it should be italicized. This is not here. That goes away. And then you'd also add the link if you could find it. So now let's go back up into the paper, kind of look at things. I would not put the article title. I would start this out. The authors explored distance education in undergraduate courses. So what I would do here see here. Here's how I change this. The Moore et al. Group explored get rid of this. Explore student expectations of student-to-student interaction and how this and how the related effects and this needs to be changed, and the related effects on distance on let's do this on distance education I'm just going to delete this. Course outcomes. Just cleaning the sentence up. Also in APA, because the research was conducted in the past, verbs are going to be in the past tense. And also you're going to need another citation here. Okay. Then next paragraph, and I'm going to go through this quickly. There were 2 research questions in the study, which were as follows. And for these research questions, probably best just to put this in a bulleted list, numbered list. Here's how I'd format this. Get rid of the quotation marks. And the citation is going to be at the very end. Get rid of that. Let's do this bold here so we know that we made these changes. Get rid of this. And then we're going to put a page number. So then you go in again. We're looking at the past tense. Okay. Spend a lot of time. Then you're looking at their research methodology. And so here's a problem. Moore et al. 2014 is cited, but it's not in the list. So there needs to be that one. The previous study in 2014 needs to be added to the reference list. Trying to see what else. Okay, so you start the sentence. It shouldn't be with the numeral, but spelled out. But however, when you get into the sentence, 10 or more, that's the rule, 10 or more, you're going to spell out, or you're going to use the numeral. Percent. 13. Percent. Okay. And then go into research findings. And again, just make sure your verbs in the past tense, and then conclusion. And with the conclusions for these assignments, I gave a lot of leeway because that's where you would provide your critique for the paper. And that concludes this presentation of what I'm looking for, how I go through when I evaluate a paper. Probably be putting other things up for you, writing as we move throughout the semester. As always, if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.